What's up everyone, Ted Forbes here. Welcome back to The Art of Photography. We're going to do a little behind the scenes in this video, and I want to give you some updates to where we are with contrast. And if you're not familiar with what contrast is going to be, this is a project that I'm doing in conjunction with Squarespace, and we're going to do an online photography magazine. And I made an announcement about this a couple weeks ago. I've done a lot of work on it. I want to give you guys an update on where we are, and I want to show you some of the things we're working on. This is going surprisingly smoothly, and the whole idea that I wanted to do with this was another creative outlet to complement what we do with the videos that I produce. And so with video, because it's a linear format and you watch it in real time, and I guess you can bump around in the video, but it doesn't lend itself as smoothly to things like portfolios of work or images that I want to show that I'm not talking about necessarily. So I think contrast is going to be something that would really complement that nicely. The other thing is a lot of the photographers that I cover on this show usually are very well-known and established names. And I think there's a lot of photographers out there that are very deserving, that are very good. And I think contrast could be a really cool place to do that. So when you come check out what we've produced, I want you to kind of come away being introduced to some new people maybe you didn't know about before that are very deserving of the recognition that they're not getting right now. And I think this would be a great avenue for that. So I've already made a list of people. I've started reaching out to folks, and the reception and the interest in participating in this has been very surprisingly good. I mean, I guess I wasn't totally surprised. I wouldn't think people would hate it, but I think it's really cool that people are as enthusiastic about it as they are. So I want to cover some newer photographers that you might not have heard of. I want to have some written articles and some tutorials and things that might be kind of cool to have. It's going to be a whole bunch of different things. I also want to involve the community that watches the show, and that's the part I haven't totally landed on and figured out yet, and so I'm trying to place that. So a while back, we did a series of Twitter photo challenges, and I was giving away books to a winner after every one of them. And I think a lot of people took to that, got it, and had a lot of fun with it. People were participating and getting to know one another. It was really cool to see this happen on Twitter because I really didn't expect that. And so it was a really nice surprise to be successful like that. However, everything's kind of hidden in Twitter, for one, and two, the other thing that's a little deflating about the whole thing is inevitably every time I did a contest, I would have 2 or 3 people that would be very sour grapes about the whole thing, that didn't agree with my decisions for the final, that thought their work should have been in there. And I guess that's to be expected. So I guess what I'm trying to say is with contrast, I want to find a way to feature work by viewers, but I don't necessarily want to create something that's going to create, the sour grapes thing with the few that don't make it or submit their work. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I do want the quality to be very high. I want it to be curated, but I want everybody to feel involved and not left out. So I'm still working on trying that. Anyway, so I've got some people lined up. I don't want to say who yet because I just want to make sure everything's going smooth. And I have decided a couple things. First of all, we have a domain name, and so we have the URL hooked up. So the domain is contra.st, which spells contrast. So we're going to use a .st. So contra.st, and that will take you to the homepage, which I'm going to show you in a second. We've got kind of a placeholder up and call to action if you want to sign up for a mailing list, and I'll show you all that in a second. The other thing I've decided on is as far as the format goes. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be an online magazine, obviously, and I'm going to do this in seasons. And so there will be summer, winter, spring, fall. And so we'll do it 4 times a year. And if it takes off and we can get into a production schedule that works, I'm happy to explore doing it more often. But I want to kind of manage expectations and what I'm able to produce with my time. So I think that'll probably give it enough breathing room so I can actually make really good content for this, because I don't want to be jammed up against the wall. And I don't want it to affect the videos that we produce as well. So that's kind of one thing I want to do, is do the seasonal approach to it. The first issue, I'm kind of looking at doing a fall thing. I know we're at the top of the summer right now, but if I say we're going to do a summer issue, that puts a really tight deadline on it. So I would rather wait till the fall. And the other reason I want to wait till the fall is this. I have had several people ask me if I've considered doing a print version. And the argument being that, looking at stuff on a website is great and all, but sometimes you want a nice printed version of something. And I like that idea, and I'm not opposed to it, but the only thing that I'm a little worried about putting that into the mix with right now is if you're going to do a print version, everything needs to be reformatted and laid out, and you really need another designer to be working on that. And I think it's a little outside the scope of what one person can handle on all this stuff, being me. And so I'm not opposed to the idea. I just don't want to commit to it just yet. So we'll see. I would love for that to be a thing, but considering there's not a lot of budget involved with doing an online publication like this, it falls outside the scope of what time can handle, and so that's what I'm a little worried about. So I hope I can have some more news on there, and if anybody has some suggestions or anything that you're thinking about that might help with something like that, I'm open to anything, so feel free to leave a comment below. But that's kind of where I am right now with Contrast, and everything's moving pretty well. I've already got some content started, and I'm really getting excited about this. I think people have been very open to the idea. But what I want to do now is I want to talk about the website, and so come on over to the computer and let's have a look at what we got so far. This is the Contrast website, and it's not very extensive right now. It's just a placeholder page, but I have a full screen image on here and just a coming soon, and I have a little notify me button, and if you click that, it'll allow you to sign up to put your email on a list so you can be notified when we're ready to launch. And I have that hooked up with MailChimp, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. And anyway, as I mentioned, this is all built on Squarespace, and you can go check it out for yourself if you want. If you go over to squarespace.com, just click the Get Started, and they'll give you a free account for a 10-day trial, and you can kind of go through and play with it and check out the templates and see what works for you. So the way you do it is you start with a template, and so these are all the Squarespace templates over here. The one I picked for this is this one. It's called Adversary, and it's pretty cool because you can always change your templates. It's real easy to do. In fact, one of the ideas that I had is I might use a different template each time we do an issue, so it'll have a whole new look to it. That might be kind of cool to experiment and play with. And each one of these templates has a lot of options in it, and they're all fully customizable, and there's a lot of stuff you can do. The other thing I did was you can get your domain name either through Squarespace if you want, or I used a third-party registrar. You can do anything you want. When you go into Squarespace, when you log in, I'm in the back-end system. We go back out here, and this is the Squarespace content management system here, which is really nice. You can see the preview pane on the right, so any edits you make and stuff, it's pretty much a total WYSIWYG editor, which is really cool. It all runs inside the browser. And over here on the left, I've got my various settings and categories for that. So if I go into settings and I pick domains, this is where you hook that up. Contrast is the third-party domain. When you hook up a new domain, it's really pretty easy. They walk you through all the steps. They have a complete online guide. So, you know, if you've registered with GoDaddy or whoever your registrar is, chances are it's in there. I had no trouble with that. It pretty much hooked up immediately, and so it was really cool. So basically what I did is if I go back out here, I'm going to go under pages and I'll show you how I set this up here. So I created the main page, and with my template, I used, you know, this full screen image here. And if I go into here, here's my options. I can change the layout, and there are many layout options for that full page image, which I thought was pretty cool. So I can pick something different and change the layout if I want. Some of these are designed for kind of unique purposes, and I think this particular theme is designed for if you have if you're a band and you have an album you want to put. So there's you know, like for instance, this record template here is if you want to put links to MP3s on there, which is kind of cool. I mean, Squarespace have a ton of options, and we'll explore those, and I thought that would be kind of cool to show you how I'm building the website as we go. But anyway, I put that notify me button on there, and then with each one of these, they ask you, what do you want to be? Here it is under here. There's branding and text, imagery. You can use custom fonts. I did change the default typeface. If I go under action here, you can change the colors to everything. For the button thing, I hit notify me, and then what you do is you select edit form, and what that does is it brings up a thing here, and for advanced, I think it's under advanced or storage is where it is. I can customize the fields. What I did is I hooked this up with MailChimp, and I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this out. So MailChimp is basically a service that allows you to manage email lists, and I've used them for a long time. They have a free plan that allows you to send quite a few emails out every month for no charge. So if you're doing anything in business where you are keeping emails and you need to send out mass email lists, I advise you to use MailChimp. I think they're a great service, and then they don't really start charging you until your list gets to a certain size, and I can't remember what their quota is on there. You can look it up, though. It's MailChimp.com. If I go over to MailChimp, I have a bunch of lists that I have for various things in here, and I created a list for Contrast. It's up here at the top. And then basically Squarespace integrates. So when I click that form button and I say under storage, I select MailChimp, as I said earlier, what it does is it has a little drop-down menu and says, okay, you know, log in, and then what list do you want? I select the list, and then it's that easy. It collects email addresses. So I've had 25 people subscribe so far, which is actually really cool because other than one tweet, I haven't really done much with the URL as far as, you know, advertising and letting people know it's out there. So anyway, that's really all there is to it. Everything is so simple. Everything is a live preview on here. It's really easy to use. You have a lot of options. You know, at first, I think sometimes on Squarespace, it's like if you have something you want to do, you have to drill down a little bit to figure out how to do it. So I knew I wanted that full screen image. But it's really pretty intuitive and easy once you get there. As far as the fields, what you want to do to customize them, drag and drop on the image, everything is so easy to do on here, and it really is quite nice. So that's where we are with the website right now. Contrast is, once again, the URL on that is contra.st. It spells out contrast, and you can use a www if you want. You don't have to. That'll get you to the website, and we'll have more coming soon as we get closer to a launch, and I'll do more behind the scenes. But anyway, some cool options that we have there. And by the way, if you do check out Squarespace and you decide you want to use it for one of your own websites, I do have an offer code that can save you some money on checkout. And what you want to do is just use offer code AOP, stands for the Art of Photography, and it's AOP. And Squarespace they've been a sponsor of the show for a long time, and special shout out to them because they're really helping us out. They're donating the web space for the online magazine here, and I think Squarespace are a wonderful company, and they do a lot of great things. So anyway, you can use offer code AOP on checkout. So thanks to the folks at Squarespace, and thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions or anything, I want to encourage you to leave a comment if you'd like, and we'll be doing more of these updates as we go for Contrast and what we're going to do with it. And so far, it's a lot of fun to be working on this, and I think it's going to be a nice kind of very creative supplement to the stuff that I've already got going on with the videos. It'll be a different venue to express things. So anyway, once again, guys, this has been another episode of The Art of Photography. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.